Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. This is the fourth devlog of Farmbotany, and the one that took the longest to come out, by a mile. I always thought, hey, the game shouldn't be that different since the last devlog, but when I checked the image on the thumbnail, oh my gosh, it's a completely different game. When the video was posted, the amounts of commits should have been like 30. Now it's more than 100. The game is so different that I have to install version by version instead of just reviewing the latest. When I was trying to see the other devlogs, I noticed two big mistakes in the videos. The videos rarely show images of the actual game, take a lot of time to show any images or videos of the game. And second, the videos are short. Short videos are less valued by the algorithm, meaning less clicks, meaning less views, meaning less numbers, meaning less dopamine into my brain. So I'm trying to make this the best devlog so far. No more yapping, let's get into it. Before I show you the game, I want to explain how many things work under the hood. Let's first talk about the player and tools. The movement is very simple, works just like how you would expect it to work in Pine. Collision works like this. There is an array that stores all of the recs of solid objects. We will talk about where are these values coming from, but now let's just suppose that pym.rect 0,0,64,64 and pym.rect 64, 64, 64, 64. Those are position x, position y, size x, and size y, respectively. Just remind, this is separate from graphics. See, the way how Farmbotany deals collision is like this. When the player presses a button, let's say left, the float twitches move 5 pixels to the left. Then, it checks if it is colliding with any of the recs that are in the list. If so, it moves back 5 pixels. And that's why it's a bit weird when you enter into a solid object. Now let's talk about two tools. I personally think that the code I wrote for how the tools work is a garbage, sloppy mess, but I'm going to try to understand what I wrote. I use the hole as example, but all of the tools work the same, except for one part, but we will get to that later. Basically, there is a whole tick variable that equals to a function in the Farmbotany class, which returns a value that means if the tool needs to be used or not. Earlier in the code, it makes the whole interaction. It also saves when the position was held in the variables whole plus x and whole plus y. After that, it goes through a function that does what it needs to do with that position, but only if the tool's animation frame is at a specific number. The inventory system is a bit more complicated, but I think I can summarize it pretty easy. Let's first understand how these values are even stored. The old version of Farmbotany, made in Github, used custom research to make an inventory. It was based on a tutorial that I watched on YouTube. It worked fine, but I'm not going to use it for two major reasons. First, the system has some flaws. For example, there is no way to use these statements. This is very bad because it makes names unchangeable without having to change the entire rest of the code. And second, there are no custom resources in Pygame. Duh. So I had to choose a different method. I could use if statements, but I went in a different path I call ID mapping. I made a dictionary, which should have been a list, which by the way I reutilized in the tile system. We'll get to that later. It works by assigning an ID to each item and then saying its details. This is much better, allowing more customizability and cleaner code. Now let's talk about the inventory UI. These lots here are actually a bunch of classes. They are initialized at the beginning of the program, assigning a variable to each one. This variable is the number they represent in the array. They are all stored in one array, and get updated every frame to contain the new item and displaying them. UI movement works by if statements. I'm already a few pages into the script, so you try understanding it yourself. Now let's talk about the interesting part, the tile. The tile map system uses as a base the ID system from the inventory system. There is a big list of lists. The rows are the y coordinates and the columns are the x coordinates. Hello, editing me here. I actually forgot to mention two extremely important things. First, there are actually two tile maps, one being the sub-tile map and the other being the regular tile map. The sub-tile map is the terrain. if it is grass, dirt, part of the hill, and on. The tile map is like the state that the tile is in. The best and one of the few examples of the tile map is the whole ground. The second thing I forgot to mention are special tiles. These are tiles that instead of being just numbers, they are actually classes. All of them inherit from a class named special tile, and all of them are divided in 3 steps. The initialization, the update, which renders all of them onto the main surface, and the value update, that updates all the values. The reason for why they are separated are many, but most importantly due to pausing. You want to keep running them into the main surface, but you don't want to update their value. The biggest example, and the only example, of the special tile is the crop. I say this pretty good describes it. It can't be a value, it has to be constantly updating, and it has to be rendered. So we need to add this because of the crop. Thanks for listening, and back to the video. Back in the day, there was one class for every tile, in the Godot version and the old current version, if that makes sense. This is a problem because it is terribly inefficient, especially with larger maps. The new system puts them in the tile map directly. They are pre-rendered into surfaces that then are bladed onto the main surface. This increases performance exponentially. Talking about surfaces, I actually lied. None of the game's surfaces, except the UI, are bladed directly into the main surface. They are instead passed through a sprite manager function. Instead of getting bladed directly into the main surface, like before, they append the sprite class instance to the sprite list in the Farmbotany class. The parameters must have their surface, obviously, their position, if it has Y sort, and bottom right position. There are other parameters, but I'm just going to keep the basics here. Then they get Y sorted if Y sort was added. Then they pass through a function that actually splits them onto the main surface, and also does some stuff like proper position according to the offset, but most importantly, it checks if it is in bounds. See, some objects go off the screen, either too high or too low. This causes the game to run like a potato in older computers that I tested. And there are many other features to add. If it is lagging now, imagine later. This is a mixer to manage when they are bladed and if they need to be bladed at all. It's like an operating system from bleeding subject surface. It is a lot better to ask RAM from the operating system than to change it directly. It is more secure and eases development. There are obviously a lot more stuff that I could talk about, but I'm just going to end here because most of these things are hard putting into words. Or I'm just terrible at teaching, who knows. Now that I've covered how it works under the hood, let's talk about the game as a player. From the start, just finding the red commit was a pain. The only time a Farmbotany image appeared was in the thumbnail, so it took me some time to find it. But then I realized that I could just base it on when the video was uploaded. And, oh my gosh, 8 commits in? Now we are at 155. After running the file, this seems like the prototype of the prototype. You can use the axe, hold the ground and plant the crop, but you can't sell it. The feature I tried adding was so when the mouse is close to the player, it holds the selected tile instead of the front one. Although I appreciate the dedication, the system is very buggy and incomplete. There is the viewport and tiles, which take surprisingly long to make, but else from that, this version has very few things as a player's view. Okay, so now we are going to the version 0.2. I'm not going version by version, but this time it fits perfectly with what I want to show. I never mentioned this, but Farmbotany is organized in version. The idea is that at the end of each version, the result is more friendly to the consumer. Like, it doesn't have text popping up in the terminal, no debug sting appearing, no unfinished items popping out of the nowhere, and no bugs with the current features. And essentially, version 1 is just the basics of the basics. Version 2 is like a small and is just pretty much the shop. Version 3 was a bit bigger, adding some stuff, and version 4 was gigantic, taking over 2 months of development. It is pretty much everything we know of Farmbotany today. I mean, the version that I know today, because I didn't post anything for the last, month. And version 5 is the version that is currently in development, and should take about 1 more month to come out. There are 2 reasons for why there haven't been any devlogs for a while. First, I have been taking a break from game development recently, majority because of the new computer. More specifically, the situation I have got into because of it. It is most personal stuff, so I won't say it in this video, but I became very depressed after September 2nd, being possibly the worst day of my entire life. But now I've recovered, sort of. There is still a bunch of problems with the computer, but this is for me to solve. And second, just because how boring these videos are to make. There are no dances, funny memes, funny sound effects, or not just straight talking. But I want to share my experience with game development with all of you. So here I am. Anyways, let's get to the game. Okay, so the only real difference from this one and the last version is the shop. This time, the game is actually playable, being more than 2 minutes max until a soft block. But there is text popping up in the terminal and an unfinished brick in the middle of the map. It's great to have those as playtests, but I don't want them to be in the version at the end. And there's still a bunch of bugs. And the wheat sprite looks so cursed. Nothing else to say, let's get to the next iteration. So, most of the next ones aren't going to have a transition, because we are going to pass from smaller version to smaller version. Making a transition for each one is going to become repetitive. Now we are at commit 41. The only difference from this one to the last is the room switching. It works fine, and so far nothing else changed compared to the last version. I like how I can plant crops, then I can run away to the other room, and if I come back the crops are finished. I like this touch. So I see myself procrastinating so much in the past days. If at least I got some help. The only sort of help that I got is when my friend came to my house and said that the game was a Stardew Valley copycat. And he's the only person that has a chance to help me. He's the only person in the class that speaks English, but he's too busy doom scrolling YouTube shorts. So, if you're seeing this, which you probably are, please learn how to program and help me by doing something. Anything at all.
Hi, so I'm the thumbs up guy. And that he said in the middle of the video. And he said that I'm the only one that speaks English, and also is a friend, not the only friend, but I'm a close friend to him. But I am planning to start really thinking about start programming. So I'll try to stop doom scrolling on YouTube shorts all day. And I guess that's it.
Whatever, let's get back to talking about the game. I'm actually going from feature to feature. Going to 48 here, the other room is still the same, but this time I tried adding a bit of terrain to the map. However, I failed miserably. It is super hard to do with the text editor. But now it is fine, so did I endure the pain? No. I built a map editor. It is very basic, but it serves its purpose. You can check it out in my GitHub account, leaving the link on the code of the editor in the description. Start please. In it, you can import, build, and then export by pressing C. Copying the value that pops in the terminal, then paste it in the room variable. At commit 61, I added all the tiling for the hold ground. At commit 69, the pickaxe was added that can unhold the ground and remove crops. And at commit 75, I finished the terrain we know today. At commit 83, I did the same thing for the other room. At around this time, from commit 85 to 89, I traveled to Rio Grande do Sul, and I was still making the game, adding keyboard integration to the shop, which was the leader. Commit 97 to 122 were just bug fixes and small tweaks. I was working in the watering can feature from commit 138 to 143, and I finished it in 144. At commit 153, I added potato crop, which is the same as the wheat crop, just costs cheaper, sells for less, and takes less time to grow. And at commit 157, I added a few optimizations. Let's talk about that. Me and my friend Nicholas, the same one who mentioned it before, were trying to add captions to the video. We were doing it manually, but then bro decided that we should use the automatic captions. So I had to install Python on his computer to run the program. While I was installing things, I thought it would be interesting to try to run Farmbotany on his computer. And so I did. Installed the files and everything, ran the program, and it was running super slowly, like at 10 FPS. I decided this was way too slow, and I thought it was because of Python last plugin. So then I was going to switch the game engine of Farmbotany again to Rust with macrocode. I wanted Raylib, but it requires the installing the development libraries, and I really can't do that. Watch the unboxing of the level lock to find out why. And they removed the bundle feature because why not, I guess. So I had to go with macrocode. I actually have a game with macrocode that I asked ChatGPT to make a test, but nothing concrete. So then I decided to make a post on Reddit about the issue I was having. It goes like this. I hate the ceiling with Pygame. Anyone can help me. Hello, so I've been making this game in Python with Pygame. The game is nowhere near finished. It runs perfectly okay in this computer, a good one, but when I tried running it on other computers that are a little worse, the game runs like a potato, while other games, like The Binding of Isaac, that are sort of similar, run okay on the same computer. I've tried everything to optimize it, like objects disappear when going off the screen and all, but still runs like trash, around 10 FPS. So, since I've been learning Rust lately, reading the book, does it teach how to make graphics? I've thought to make a game in it. The main option for me, Raylib, is not possible. Even though I think it is going to be an excellent pick, it requires installing of development libraries, and I can't install them from the risk of breaking the system. What should I do? Should I still use Pygame? Should I switch to Rust? Is there a way to use Raylib without development libraries? If not so, is there a library that doesn't require installing development libraries? I originally posted it on r/Pygame, but I reposted it in r/Rust, and, most importantly, r/Gaming. Nothing can go wrong, right? Jesus, so many red funny. Okay, there are a few useful posts here, but most of them were just hating. Many of them were wrong or didn't make any sense. I can't lie that I should have tried to optimize and profile before switching the language engine, and I should have provided more context. But could these people have told this in a more civil way than just straight attacks? Also, if you commented on that post, don't take this personally. So after this, I'm doing more stuff to optimize the game for it to run as I expected. And we finish it. These are all the commits. I could just end the video here, but I want to do something special. I want to tell you the story of me as a game. Everything begins at around 2022. I wanted to create games, not for the profit, just wanted for the joy of making a game and being able to say that I made. But it was very hard to get started, and I didn't know any YouTube tutorials for it to look, so I didn't make anything for a while. I did started watching a lot of Brazilian game dev content creators, like Guselect and Game Plus, since I didn't know English at the time. But then, one day, as late March, I was sitting on the couch, on the same place as I am right now writing this. A video appeared on my feed, named Crie seu próprio jogo Guselect GameMaker. And I was like, hey, I want to make a game. So I clicked on it, installed GameMaker, and followed the tutorial step by step, going back and forth through the living room and the office where the computer was. I worked on it for a few days. I was very proud of it. I even added more rooms and new features without even watching tutorials, like this snake. The game I just created was a game I called Catventure, and although it was simple, this had just kickstarted my career as a content creator, programmer, artist, and most importantly, as a game developer. This means that if it wasn't because of Guselect, none of my games, this video, my trip to a place that we will talk about later, and my channel will have never existed. So if you're liking this video, go there and smash the like button on to Guselect's channel, and like the video that creates support for Jogo Guselect GameMaker as well. Link in the description. I'm leaving the game in the description as well. But seriously, Guselect, if you're somehow watching this, thank you so much for making my childhood dream come true. I published the game in Games because it was the only way of publishing GameMaker games for free on GameMaker, and I was an innocent child back then, so I used Opera GX. Also, I recorded the section of the video when I was sick at the hospital, so sorry if the audio is bad.
About that, let's take a look over Cat Venture. This game is obviously very simple due to my age and experience, but I don't think it is that bad for taking about a toddler in 5 days as a hobby. You control a cat in it, and although it is never mentioned in-game, her name is Mel, because it's a reference to a cat I have in real life. Just look at her, she's so cute. You control Mel with WASD, and you can shoot with Z. You have to collect all of the coins in the level for you to progress into the next level. However, in the 4th level, you can no longer progress, and you must press enter for you to go to the final level. This is obviously the hardest level, meaning it gets you to the developer room that I used to test mechanics. I remember there is a reward for finishing the game, but it didn't pop up with your Jogo. My opinions on this are real biased. I mean, it did kickstart basically everything in my life, but the game itself is filled of bugs. Since I rushed it for my friends to see it. I remember speedrunning this game on a late night, super stressed to get this done until tomorrow. I really wish I could get back to this game, but I don't have the source files for the game since they were deleted when I tried installing Arch that is the computer. Oh my god, it was so stupid. And I don't know how you can get them. And I don't know you can get them from the website, even when you're logged in. I also don't really like the shooting mechanic. I think it was a cool addition, but it has nothing to do with the rest of the game. Overall, it's okay. Like the homage to my cat. Overall, it's okay. I like the homage to my cat though, so that gives it some points.
I mostly forgot about this for some time until Nico, the same one mentioned before, decided to tell people to play my game. It was computational class, and the teacher at the time was super cool and let you play whatever games they wanted, unlike the current teacher. But that's a story for another day. And after that, suddenly everyone started playing my game. Once, every computer in the class was running Cat Venture. Unfortunately, I wasn't there at class because I was sick, but that should have been super cool. I was making games that I liked and other people willingly got out of their way to play. It was all simple. All of us were happy. That was until around March of 2024, our Portuguese teacher at the time passed away. I can see. The work was to make a printed poster of something we want to advertise. I made this. The homework was due to March 16th. The teacher said it looked super professional, and we got a good grade. After that, we were sitting in groups, and the person right beside me, let's call him G, knew that I was a game developer. So he said something like this: I doubt you make a tractor game. And my friend Nicholas, the same one made before, was super down for it. So he said, sure. Wait, what? Mom, what? Are we switching houses? But I like so much to live here. Oh, sir, our money is running tight. Alright. Bye-bye house. Bye-bye this room here. Had so much memories here. Goodbye. Phew. This place feels so much better. Not the other place was bad though. Not mentioning that. But this place is so cool. Also, it just didn't took, unlike the other one, it just didn't took hours and hours and hours to make, right? Anyways, let's get back into talking about the Farmbotany. And we started idealizing the game. It was going to have farming mechanics, a shop, many characters to unlock, and a mechanic of growing plants in your house. we hired a few people to work in the project. We hired A, which used to be my friend, but he's not anymore. He was going to do the tractor art. We hired H, which was going to do the beta testing. And we hired C, which was going to do the idealizing. Most of these people nowadays don't even know or remember what Farmbotany is, so I don't think we should really mind about them being there, but they are there, just remember that. Then, it was time to name the game, so I got information from Pastor Sami's own name, Farmbotany, because the game is going to have botany related elements. I placed Zom with farm, getting Farmbotany. I started working on the game by GameMaker, thinking it wasn't going anywhere, and no one was going to do anything except me. Well, I was hell correct with that one. Okay, let's talk about the activity on the team. A, C, and H don't know English, so they basically can't do anything. There's just me and Nicholas left. I'm already working on the project, right now by the way, and Nicholas has some hope. We can just hope that he says his word and learn such a program to help. In GameMaker, I got a triangle that moves and removes plants on its way. But it was limited, and I really didn't like the fact that you had to pay to export the game outside of the exit games. So I had to get another solution. I tried Unity, as you can guess, that didn't go anywhere, and then I tried Godot. It was fully free and easy to use. It was exactly what I wanted. I learned Godot by watching the tutorial, Your 3D Game from Zero in Godot, Vampire Survivor Style, by GD Quest. I started working on the Godot version of Farmbotany. This version was made in about a day and is the most basic and generic farm game ever. But I was sort of happy I managed to make it.
The old version of Farmbotany is a farm game, which the only way to progress is by collecting the wheat, which can be done by getting close to it. No inventory, no seeds, no nothing. However, this is the first game that had sound effects. I bet you all needed to know about that one. There was supposed to be an ending when you get 1 B coins, which is 1,000,000 coins. But there is a bug in the code, so nothing happens. Also, the files of the game corrupted again.
At around this time, we showed our old arts teacher, and she loved art, so she told us to make a poster of our idea and show them to Bio Park. I don't really understand what Bio Park is, but I think it's a place where there are a bunch of things. We rented an educational building there, met a bunch of places in the massive building and showed our project. But we made a huge mistake while showing it. We didn't have a prototype of the game, so we just looked like a bunch of idiots there. Telling an idea of a project we weren't even going to work for and just wanted them to give us a free course. I think that's why we are waiting for a response till today. And being realistic, we probably never will. But to be honest, I'm shocked how we even got there. So I want to thank Bio Park for motivating me to keep making Farmbotany these videos. Outside of Farmbotany, I made some other games, most of which were made for game jams. More specifically, the mini jam. The first one was Battle Sizer, and the last one was UFO Master. There was also Severe Raining, which was special because it was a homage to the flooding of Rio Grande do Sul. Around this time, I stopped working for Farmbotany because I just lost the motivation for creating a project, so I went making another game called Compland. I may get back to it in a day. It is an RPG inspired by Undertale Yellow, a mod of Undertale. I looked at it and thought it was super cool and decided I had to make my own version of it. And the project got very far. I liked it the way it is, and I think it is I think it is a hell of a lot better than Heartbound. But I didn't get to finish it, and maybe I'll go back to it and remake it in Pygame a day, but that's not for today. I took a break from making games because I was going to go back into making Compland, but then I updated it and nothing worked anymore, like it crashed, like the plugin I was used, and I couldn't decide to fix it. But so I was just feeling lazy, I just gave up on it, and maybe I'll go back to it one day. I will leave the link of my itch.io account so you can check out my games in the description. The files from the original Farmbotany.
So let's take a look over all of them in chronological order. We'll start with Bottle Sizer. This game was the first game jam game I made. It is a simple platformer in which you can choose the platforms you use. Next is View Rating. This game is a homage to what happened in Rio Grande do Sul a few years ago. Complan is the one RPG that we were talking about earlier. The language of the future is actually pretty interesting. In the game you have to go there, get money, see that the cube speaks a foreign game language, get a dictionary, understand it, and then beat the game. Next is Jar Multiplier. I don't really like this one. You get these settings and you can multiply them to get different outputs. Then there is Bird Card. I like this one. You are this cute little very well drawn bird that has to get the columns and avoid going off the rails. And we have UFO Master. Okay, this one is just so bad it's not even worth talking about.
Corrupted, so I had to remake the game from the ground up. This is actually good news because the new version of Farmbotany is infinitely more complete than the original. It was around there I started a YouTube channel making devlogs like this one. After some time I had optimization issues with the old Farmbotany, so I did the next obvious thing. Switched the game to the third time. But this time it was for good. Or was it? I switched with bugging him after I heard that Crie Wong used it once. I watched the tutorial, the ultimate introduction to bugging by Clearcode, and already started the development. And the rest is story.
This video has been the most well edited and, in my opinion, the best video that I've ever made. It took me so much time to get here, and in the making of this video, things that I couldn't imagine happened to me. If you pay attention, you can watch me growing and maturing as the time passes. In the beginning, I was just an innocent child, having no idea how big of a mess I was getting into. And over the video, not only my editing skills got better, but I slowly got more mature. I'm exhausted now after making this. And after a project that I'm going to do in a bit, I'm taking a break for some time, just to come back harder than I ever did before. Thank all of you for the amazing support. It's been great to make videos and games for you guys. Thanks for watching the Farmbotany Movie. Also, yeah, let's talk about Mel. In the making of this video, well, let's say that Mel couldn't find the antidote. I already said most of the things in another video, so I'm keeping things straight here. I was hospitalized, and right after that, something very unfortunate happened. We discovered that Mel had FeLV, a serious, uncurable disease. Since then, I tried to look at it in the positive way, thinking that she will survive it all. I just wanted one gift for Christmas, being able to see her there, alive and well on the Christmas day. There was a moment where you could say that she was okay. She ate, interacted, and everything was well. Then, I think that this video perfectly describes what happened to her.
Whoa! Yes! Yes! Say sense! Wait, there's been enough Philip! Ah! You should have sold Nicolai!
She wore the Sonic 2 medallion or something, because everything happened to make her health go downhill and die 24th of December of 2025 at the age of 7. I feel really sad that all of this happened, but I'll never forget all the memories that I had with her, like she catching bugs and snakes for my dad, or we playing at the backyard, or she curling up at me when I was watching TV, or me playing with Mel under the bed, or when she used to sleep with me in the winter season. There is a saying that says, you die twice, when you die and when your name is said by the last time. Mel will never die in the other requirement. She may be gone now, but she added more to the world than any other cat could ever imagine to, and that's what I'm most happy for. And the true reason for why this video took so long to make
is that I know that no success that I will ever get for making this will make up for the pain, sadness, and loneliness that I felt. The pain in the stomach during those sleepless nights, or the sadness every time I saw Mel getting a little worse, knowing that these were her last few days. And the true reason why this video is being made is that I know that any success that I'll get from making this will make up for all the memories and moments that I had with her. I'm not free. I have another thing to do after this video finishes, and will have thousands of problems along my way for me to solve. However, Mel is free. Free of any problem, disease, or sadness that has ever crossed her path. I made this video not for me, not for you, but for her. Wherever you are, rest in peace, Mel.